a tennis ball. Bounce back like a basketball. Bounce back like a soccer ball. Or really any kind of ball except a football. If you can't tell, this is a Deuce Ace review for Always Be My Maybe.
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this is Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies.
Shout out to Griselda for advising us to watch this movie, Always Be My Maybe. We've been doing a whole lot of, theater movies coming out on the big screen. She said, what about a Netflix movie? So, me and Deuce, we separately watched this movie, and I'm going to come out and say it. This is a bad movie. I'm sorry if you loved it, if you liked it, but I did not enjoy it. Deuce, what did you think?
I'm going to come out and say it. This was a great movie. Great, enjoyable time. I loved the movie, and I recommend that you watch it as well. And if you love the movie, watch this review. So, Always Be My Maybe stars Randall Park and Ali Wong with a random assortment of characters. If you've seen the preview, Keanu Reeves is in there.
Spoilers!
It's not a spoiler.
I didn't see any previews for this movie.
Yeah, so Dupinder from Deadpool, don't know the actor's name. Daniel Day Kim. Oh man.
You know his name though?
Yes. And a couple other people. If you're familiar with Key and Peele, with the sketch where he's like sweating the water because
when his girlfriend finds his internet history,
yeah,
she's in it.
She's in here and she plays a lovely character. So that's
not lovely. No.
So those are the actors. Again, a small film, nice little Netflix film. And so the story is Randall Park and
Ali
Wong's character, Marcus and Sasha. They grew up next to each other from childhood friends. They they never really were romantically involved until their teenage years, and then after one.
Spoilers for the movie.
This is in the preview.
No, they were romantically involved in their teenage years?
It shows the car scene.
I'm sorry. I did not want to watch this movie. I saw nothing leading up to this movie, so I'm not that well versed.
Okay, so, they romantically evolve, and then they go their separate ways after that falls apart. Come back some 15 years later, Sasha is a world-renowned chef. She's, an elite
chef.
She's putting in that work, starting foo-foo restaurant here, and she's back to San Francisco. That's where the movie takes place. Cue Marcus, and he's still with his dad, and he is an electrician or a plumber.
HVAC, they do AC and stuff.
Yes, they're doing work, and they are the people who come to service her house. So now they're back in each other's lives after some time, and their worlds apart. And will they be able to reunite their world? Who knows? That's the journey of this movie, and it is a good, warm, heart-tugging journey.
No, it is not. You said, will they, won't they? That's the journey of any romantic comedy. This movie is derivative. Have you seen Sleepless in Seattle? You've seen Pretty Woman. You've seen Valentine's Day. You've seen this movie. The only difference is that it's an Asian cast, which I like. Representation's a good thing. And there were some spices of Asian culture within the movie.
Lights flicker. Make it a little dark if this thing blows out.
All good and well, but the plot of this movie is garbage. The characters in this movie are garbage. I did not like... The only character I liked was Marcus's dad. Everyone else, I wasn't rooting for anyone. I'm literally sitting there man, I can't wait for... I stopped halfway through the movie to play 2K for 2 hours because I couldn't finish the movie. But then I did finish the movie for you guys.
And for us guys, we would love if you could like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So, yes. I totally disagree with Ace. What genre of film doesn't have the same stories? It's not about the difference in stories. I mean, as much as people like Black Panther...
Your power just ran out.
Pause. All right, so we're back. Power's back on. Bills were paid. It was a whole power outage.
Apparently not.
A whole power outage on the street, but called Pepco, man, and they took care of it. So, Ace was talking about how he didn't like this movie, blah, 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 and the lights go out. The power went out. So that's just a sign from God that
this movie was horrible. I agree.
So, yeah, I think I was talking about Black Panther genres, yes. So, what movie doesn't have the same stories as genre? So everyone loved Black Panther. And yes, it brought some new stuff in that it was a totally black cast and all that. Great. But it was still a superhero movie. He still had to get beat and then overcome. Those are the tropes of superhero movies.
Okay, those are the broad story structure of superhero movies. But everything about Black Panther... first of all, I don't think Black Panther was as amazing as most people are saying. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the representation, but not an Oscar-worthy movie. Neither here nor there. But with this movie, it's like there are small differences, but it's basically a beat-for-beat standard rom-com movie.
But what rom-com isn't a standard rom-com? Like, why does it doesn't have to deviate? It's telling a good story.
But it's not a good story. The characters are unlikable. And it feels like a story that I've seen 100 times before.
All right. Well, again, that's Ace's prerogative. As always, as always, we gave you the little spoiler-free, not really review, but just discussion up front. We're gonna rate this thing, and then we're gonna get into spoilers. So, let's see the score, man. 3, 2, 1, 9. I give Always Be My Maybe, Netflix hit rom-com, a 9 out of 10 stars. Watched it with my wife. We were cracking up. We enjoyed it. She's Asian, by the way. She loves seeing Asians on the screen like her, so she really enjoyed that aspect. I love Randall Park, the comedy, 9 out of 10.
I gave Netflix's mediocre film, Always Be My Maybe, a 4 out of 10. I watched it all alone. By myself. Currently single.
Currently single, ladies, you know.
Not very helpful. But, yeah, man. I did not have a good time watching this movie.
All right, so the Deuce and Ace official score is going to be a 6.5. I guess I can tolerate that. I can let it, stomach it down.
I'm about to give it a 2 just to lower the score.
So that's a 6.5 out of 10. Spoiler time. Okay, so, it's one thing to do a movie and just throw Asians in there and then have them be just Asian caricatures of black people, white people, whatever. But it's another thing to have subtle nuances of characters, when Sasha is making her breakfast because she's by herself. She's cooking Spam, and that's a staple in many Asian diets and many Asian breakfasts. And she sprinkles the nori on her rice. So it's just like little flourishes like that for people who know that aspect of Asian culture, or for the Asians in the culture, it's just a payoff. But and there's other things like that with the Korean cooking and just different things. Ace over here didn't know what oyster sauce was.
I knew what oyster sauce was before this film.
Yes, only because I told him about oyster sauce. So when she's in the walk-in refrigerator crying, and we'll get to that, and the chef or line guy, whatever, asks for oyster sauce, it's like, wow, just different little things that, the Asian community would get. However, the movie yes, they're Asian, but the movie doesn't rely on its Asianness, and I like that. It's just, again, we talk about normalization of representation, and this is another example of that. I enjoyed that.
All good points, Deuce, and I can't disagree with anything that you just said. The representation is great in this movie. The fact that it's just normal. You're right. She's cooking Spam. She's doing nori. She has oyster sauce. Like it's just normal things that a Asian American would do. But I mean, it neither adds nor takes away from the story for me.
For you, but those things are not done for you.
Well, it's me giving the review, and I'm letting you know, producers of this movie, that I can appreciate them, but they didn't add anything to the movie.
No! The addition to the movie is that for the audience, for those who watch other people on screen and don't get to see themselves, don't get to see their culture, it provides that while still having a mainstream storyline. Like the fact that you said is not different is, I think that's intentional. You know, intentional, is that a word?
Intentional.
Intentional. I think that's intentional, and I don't think there's an issue with that.
I agree. I don't think it's an issue with that. I just have issue with the rest of the movie.
All right, carry on. Let's see.
All right. So, all right, and this is a huge plot point. As Deuce said, you know, they live next door, and little Sasha, her parents, you know, they're workaholics. I guess they're not there for her, so she spends time with Marcus and
his family,
Kim family. I believe their name is actually Kim, and you know, Marcus's mom is teaching little Sasha how to cook, and she makes this big pot of stew. And you're like, oh, and I thought it was funny. They said real agents, they cut everything with scissors. So I'm like, man, that's quirky. That's funny. But then everything after that, it's just, you know, all right, they're friends. They obviously like each other as kids. It's just, like, you can tell where the movie is going. It is one twist. Spoilers. Marcus's mom dies in was it a car crash?
I think you just said an accident.
Okay, so Marcus's mom...
car crash.
Unfortunately, she passed away. And I thought, oh, let's see, this is going to be a very interesting thing. How's he going to take it? How's Sasha going to take it? How's the dad going to take it? And then, like, they kind of get into that, but not really. They just go, oh, Sasha, like, oh, Marcus, I'm sorry your mom's dead. And then they start making out, and then, they give each other their virginities in the back of his car. And then they're, like, in line at a Burger King, and I'm like, man, this movie's going by pretty quickly. I want to get some emotions in this thing.
Okay, I gotta interrupt because yes, that is what happened, but it's set up that they were never romantically involved. So when they give themselves to each other, it's awkward, you know, because they both have never professed feelings. He feels that she only did that because she feels sorry for him, and maybe she, you know, had that. Well, no, because she was like, "You kiss me," so it's just awkward.
No, she kissed him first.
Yeah, but then she was like, "You gave tongue or caressed my face or whatever," you know. And it's just like, so it's an awkward scenario, an awkward time. So that's a natural reaction to you know.
Okay, it could be that, but throughout all the seasons of them as children growing up together, they've shown not a sexual tension, but not a sexual tension, but a romantic tension with each other as they're growing up. And you could tell this gonna be the movie. They're like, oh, will they, won't they? Oh, they obviously like each other. Just get together, you two. And it's like, again, just characters I've seen before, story I've seen before, and then
we're cordial. But okay, so he's talking about the lack of emotion. The opening scene and the funeral sets the tone of what's revealed later in the movie. We see that Marcus, you know, cannot move on beyond that in life and mentally. He in his mind, he feels he has to be the caretaker of his father because his mom's died. He can't better himself. He can't go live his life. Sasha's like, you know, he was the only thing grounding me here, tethering me here. You know, my parents don't care, and now Marcus don't care. Let me go, you know, fly away and blossom as a flower bird. Yeah, so anyway.
Okay, so yes, but I feel like they didn't, like, those may have been the broad overtones of the movie, but they never really dived deeper into that.
Because they're saving it for the end of the movie.
No, and they just all do it together at the end. Like, for, this movie's like an hour, 40 minutes. For throughout most of the runtime, it's just dumb jokes. It's just dumb.
Funny jokes.
I laughed once during the whole movie.
I laughed 1 times 28.
Dude, counting his laugh. So you know, it's just well, fast forward. She's a successful chef. He's a pothead, and he works with his dad for the
HVAC stuff.
And then she's opening a restaurant in San Francisco. She moves back, and her sassy black friend, who is pregnant for some reason, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna install AC in your house," and she invites the Kims, Marcus and his dad, to come install AC. And like, oh, the tension is back, and it just feels forced. It just feels like, I think the dad was funny. He's my favorite character in the movie.
The dad was funny, and he wasn't a, you know, there's quote unquote stereotypical Asians. Like, he's like, yes, he really means that when he's asking about how much money she has. But it was just a normal dad, a dad who loved his son, a dad who cared about his son, and it was just nice. But while Ace viewed it as forced or whatever, this is Veronica is the black assistant friend's name, and she knows what happened. So after the awkward sexual interaction, Sasha probably told Veronica. So Veronica has been with her these past 15 years, and if there were feelings, which the movie reveals that there were, she would know that. So because she knows that, now we don't know that she knows that, but because she knows that, she sets this up to be like, hey, he is always your maybe. Maybe I can, play Cupid.
You said we don't know. It is very obvious that she knows that. He's like, oh hey Veronica. They come and she's like, oh, and she has a knowing smile the whole time. We know she's playing matchmaker. We know she's trying to. We don't know if she knows the details of the night that they had sex together, but we know.
Girls talk. I'm pretty sure she knows the details.
No, I'm not pretty. I'm 100% sure that she knows something is up between them, and she's trying to force them together just so that the movie can happen. And now
or because again, there's a scene where they're growing up as kids, like maybe 11 or 12, and Veronica is with them. So it's not that she's trying to force it for the movie to happen. She's trying to force it because for 8 to 10 plus years, she's seen that they're meant to be together. That is where the love comes in. Like this,
we skipped a major part. Sasha is engaged to some guy who's I guess her brand manager.
Yeah, he puts on like different culinary geniuses and stuff.
Oh, and I wrote this down, and I like. And she goes out of her way to show that her fiance is just a douchebag. It's like, oh yeah, he's cool. He practices capoeira. He shops at Under Armour. He's the coolest. Like, oh, stereotypical rom-com. This guy, he's not. Even though he has everything, he's not good for her. She needs to go with this guy. It's like, man, just this movie didn't feel fresh. This movie was stale. It's just a rehash of every romantic comedy I've ever seen.
Okay, I'm saying yes. The ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance, it's a plot device. No arguments there. But what we're talking about now with the setup and just proving that love that was meant to be, I think is there. And so if Veronica is the...
I don't think it's there, though. Ali Wong in this movie, not likable. Randall Park in this movie, not likable.
Randall Park, likable. I believe their characters. I believe their melding of their relationship. I was invested in them. I fell in love with these characters. So, again, the stereotypical tropes that Ace is referring to, the will they, won't they, there's a lot of that. Turns out, Randall Park, Marcus, he got a girlfriend. And
she is the worst character in this movie.
Jenny is she's just Jenny, ew.
People always make fun of white girl dreads. She has Asian girl dreads for some reason.
Yeah,
and it's like the texture of her hair just looks weird.
Yeah, and she's like all about the earth, and she's clearly not the woman for Marcus.
Yeah, and it's so clear. It's like. Her and also Sasha's ex-fiance, they're caricatures of real people just to show like, oh, even though they're in relationships, they're not right. They need to get together. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Like, it's so heavy-handed. Like, everything that's going to happen, not every plot point is obvious, but the ending and the broad strokes of the movie are so obvious that I just felt like a waste of time going through the motions.
Keanu Reeves.
Wait, also, throughout the movie... They just keep saying maybe all the time. It's like he's messaging her, and like the little chat head says maybe on it. Like that's the name of their chat. I'm like, we get it. Always be my maybe. Will they get together? Maybe. Like, come on, dog. Who wrote this?
All right, so Ace is jaded. Ladies, please reach out to him. Heal his heart, please. So yeah, so. After her breakup with her fiance, they're still at the point where it's a will they, won't they. They're texting, and I like the text. I just like love, Like
this is not love, though.
Whoa, this is love.
Dog, this ain't.
This is love.
What is love? It's one point when they're talking, and he's like, well, what are you gonna do? She's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I have a baby by myself. And he's like, what? And then she's like, what? What do you mean, what? And it's like, they're just creating conflict that does not feel natural.
No,
it's like,
it feels so...
He wasn't rude. He like, she said, I'm having a baby myself. He's like, what? And he's like, well, I don't need anyone to be...
One, she's hurt. Like, let's not forget, she just... Her man, her fiance, she realized that he's been using her. He's realized that he's like with Pat Malak...
I don't know her last name.
She's an actress.
She's in India.
Philanthropist. So she's hurt. this is a guy that she's loved, and she's probably always had feelings for Marcus. So,
not probably. It's very obvious that she has.
So she's put up barriers as a defense mechanism to not get hurt again.
Well, guess what? She's also a douchebag.
No, it's understandable.
It's not. If you okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a baby by yourself. You know, you do you. But and she in random conversation like, well, what are you gonna do next? I'm gonna have a baby. He didn't say what, like, what, that's a crazy idea, like, what, like, it's just not something you hear every day, and then she immediately just goes off on him, and you're like, man, she's kind of a rude, nasty person.
No, she's
been rude the whole movie. He's been rude the whole movie.
Aaron, after the incident where they lost their V-cars to each other, that destroyed, they had a foundation. They both loved each other, that's revealed, and that came tumbling down, and they never resolved it. So now these emotions have festered for years upon years. There's no forgiveness. There's no reach out. So yeah, they're at each other's throats because they're both equally mad at each other.
But I think you're just reading too much into it, because we've seen them coming together, and we've seen and just a random, like, innocuous question that she would blow up like that. That's not because of their past together. If some random person on the street, you're like, hey, I'm having a baby myself. He was like, what? And then you went off on him. Like, what? Because, what? Just what? Like, I don't understand her reaction. It's as if they wanted to pull them apart before they draw them back in, and they couldn't do it in a believable, relatable manner, so this is what they went for.
Well, if you've seen the movie, in the comments down below, let us know if you think it was believable or not. If you have not seen the movie, watch it. You may like it, you may not.
You won't.
It will be, I think, based off of our discussion, like, I don't even think the movie wants you to have a discussion, but based off of discussion, we could get some riveting discussion. So let us know. We could go back and forth on that, but ultimately, she moves beyond her fiance. And this is at the point in time where Marcus is like, time to shoot my shot, man. And he goes to shoot a shot.
While he's still dating his current girlfriend, still kind of a douche. But Marcus is being a douche.
Jenny is just trash.
Okay, it doesn't matter if Jenny's trash. You're in a, I don't know how committed you are, but you're in a relationship with her. At least break up with her before you go for the next girl.
Very true.
Don't just be,
very true.
Don't just be a mean person, Jenny. Like, none of these people are nice. I don't like any of these people.
Okay, well, while he's trying to shoot a shot, Sasha has shot her shot, and her shot is with Keanu Reeves, and she also has like a tumorous looking hickey because not Keanu Reeves playing a character. Keanu Reeves is playing an exaggerated Keanu Reeves, and it sets for a funny scene.
Not funny.
Not funny.
It's like, I don't dislike when, actors play stylized versions of themselves in movies, but this just broke immersion so much in this movie. Like, even if I didn't like what's going on, everything has been believable going on. But then, Keanu Reeves, they go to this weird, super bougie restaurant, and he's just acting crazy. And I'm like, man, this movie's taking a whole different turn into wacky territory. They're getting multi-$1,000 aroma meals, and it's just, everything is strange. So then he's like, oh, let's go back to my penthouse and we could do some icebreakers, have some drinks, whatever. And so they're playing some weird truth or dare game, and then one of the questions is like, who would you kill? And Keanu Reeves is like, I would kill you, Marcus. And like, well, understandable, if he had to kill someone in the room, it would be him. And then
Jenny, his girl, also says she could kill Marcus.
Yes,
Jenny is trash.
Jenny is trash.
Butt sauce.
Alright, and then this leads to this dumb random fight between Marcus and Keanu Reeves, and you're like, alright, I guess they just needed a reason for Sasha to not like Keanu Reeves anymore. They needed a 5-minute filler of quote-unquote drama for this will they won't they story, when really you didn't need that. This movie could have been 45 minutes long. It's an hour and however long of just filler, of just stuff happening. Like, they build them up to a point, and then they're back where they started. Build them up to the point, back where they started. But not in a believable manner.
I'm invested in both Marcus and Sasha. So, correct. I don't disagree that some of the stuff was random. I found it funny. Maybe you didn't find it funny. Maybe some people won't find it funny. But because of the relationship that was forged early on in the movie, and the tension that is created, regardless of if it's, like, forced or not, I'm invested in seeing... Again, I know they're going to get together, because, That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how they're going to get together, but I just know they're going to get together, but I'm invested in them and their relationship. So after Keanu and they see that he's a psycho douche, they get together. And
this is the one scene that I laughed at in the movie.
so they, before when they lost the V cards, they made out in his old Toyota. So they're in the Uber that Keanu called for them, and they're making out. And so it pans out to the driver, and he's just looking, and it pans out again, and it's an Uber pool with the other customer up front. So it's pretty funny. So again, maybe the comedy was hit or miss, but they're now together. And so, it's too early for the movie to end. So, there's going to be one more conflict. And the conflict is she's going to open up a restaurant in New York. Is he going to be able to make the leap to go with her? Or is he going to stay, smoke weed, and be the loser that he is? I think that's a natural conflict from where they have been set up.
Sure.
So, all right. So, it's revealed that... even though she's not answering his calls or his texts, Sasha is still in love with him too. Why? Because all the merch that has been purchased, it's been Sasha. She's balling, she got the money. So she's been buying the merch. Inadvertently or purposefully or whatever, pushing Marcus to be the man that she needs him to be. Love. I loved it. I love the love.
I'm gonna argue that her buying the merch didn't necessarily push him to be the man he was meant to be, though. She couldn't have known that, he's being successful, so now he's got to move away from his head, he's going to do all this. She was just trying to be nice, not necessarily push him towards becoming a greater version of himself.
Or maybe she had the insight, being his girlfriend, that this is what he needed. He needed to see that they could be successful. Because prior to that, they weren't. But at the end of the day, regardless of why or motive... we know the motive. She loves him, so she still wants to help him out. It's clearly love. This is a love that was established when they were kids, when they were children. I know about that love. My wife and I have known each other for a very long time, since 5 and 8 years old, respectively.
Nothing.
Okay, so ultimately, he gets back and it's like the scene where the dude got the boom box, and so he gives.
It's the scene from 60 Candles with a Cake. The scene from Pretty Woman with the. It's the scene from every single movie. For Valentine's Day with the flowers.
And it's a nice scene, and so he gets her back, lovey-dovey, and so now she takes him to the new restaurant she's opening, and it turns out that again, so going back, she spent time cooking with Marcus's mom. And so he's and there's a previous, I don't know if we talked about it. No, he said authentic Asian food isn't fufu and eaten out of a cup. It's eaten out of a bowl with broth. And this is you're an Asian sellout. And so
and when that scene happened, I wrote this down. I said, bruh, this chick gonna open a restaurant about his mom at the end.
That's what he wrote.
And like it's very obvious. It's like, and what happens at the end?
So it's the soup that she would make with Marcus's mom, and then it's revealed that she's naming the new restaurant, which is authentic in its cuisine and setup, was Judy's Way. His mom's name was Judy, and
Judy's son, and everything's come full circle. Brava movie, just oh my goodness, man! Like I like. Me and Deuce were talking about this before. I like a good Chekhov's gun in a movie, but I don't want it to be so heavy-handed that I realize midway through the movie what the end is gonna be. Like, I like to be surprised, and this was in no way a surprise.
Yeah, again, it was no, oh my gosh, big twist, but it was a thoroughly enjoyable movie. Because I didn't have any complaints, like, again, it's not a perfect film, I didn't have no complaints, that's why I gave it a 9.
And I'm tired of talking about this movie. You could tell I did not enjoy this movie.
Yes.
I should have gave it a lower score, but I was feeling a little generous today. And, any more points about this movie? I have nothing else to say.
I did like how the backing soundtrack and stuff had a hip hop vibe. So, it's it's an Asian movie, Asian cast, but just like hip hop is in there too. So I just like that blend. I mean, you got the Run DMC on right now. Come on, bro.
Yeah, but I feel like just across media as a whole, hip hop's becoming more influential. Like Into the Spider-Verse, they had a whole hip hop album for the soundtrack. Most commercial you're gonna see is gonna be hip hop rap elements in it. So I think that's just the wave of culture that's coming in these days.
No arguments. I have another comment. That was
I I don't dislike romantic comedies. I don't dislike nice loving movies. But this movie was just your quintessential rom-com garbage. It's just I've said it before. Any rom-com you've seen is just this movie with Asian people in it.
All right.
So, I mean, any ladies who want to come my way, feel free. Holler at me in the comments.
So
holler at us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yes. So again, I gave it a 9. He gave it a 4. Total of 6.5 out of 10. I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this has been Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies. Out.